are days I just let this roll.
Strumming along.
Good morning and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is sponsored by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. And now your host of Nature Watch, it's Gary Miller. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How the heck are ya?
So actually much more comfortable this morning.
Oh, it is.
That dew point finally is staying down.
Right.
This last week it was lower than the previous couple of weeks, but it still was getting on that uncomfortable spot because it just was high enough. But yeah, it looks like this next week's going to be beautiful as far as temperatures.
There you go.
We're still dry though.
Yeah.
Still dry.
We have scattered rain showers through the day today. And I think it's courtesy of an upper level low that is parked up by the Upper Peninsula. Just like there's this little spin coming down.
Yeah, and the cold front, cooler temperatures was coming through earlier this morning as I was looking at the weather earlier with Scott Larson. And it's cooler out there. Actually, on the way in, I was just starting to come in, and it was really dark in the west and the northwest. And like, I might get some rain in before I get to the station. And it sort of dissipated, but then actually when I was getting close to the station to the east of us is very dark sky. So somebody's getting some rain.
Welcome to the Kalamazoo Triangle. That's all it is. You know, that's how it's happening.
I actually had some rain this last week. Last Saturday, Sunday. Sunday I primarily had another 4/10, which helped tremendously because it's been very, very dry.
Next time you do a rain dance, I want video. I do.
Actually, I was going to encourage everybody, grab your radio this morning, listen to the show, and go out and do a rain dance right now because we need rain. The drought monitor, we have decreased conditions in Michigan considerably from a week ago. We are now, the state of Michigan, 57.91% of the state, almost 58% of the state, is in some sort of a drought condition. That's up from about 36% a week ago. So it had gotten considerably worse, and Kalamazoo County actually didn't change any. I think we got just enough rain to not drive any change. A couple of states are drought condition free, and it's not surprising when you hear them, Indiana and Ohio.
Well, hello.
and Kentucky actually has a real little spot in this extreme southwestern tip that's got a little bit, they've got like about 1.5% or something of the state's got some drought condition, but the rest of it's drought condition free.
Well, Indiana will have a chance to dry out this winter. It just seems like on social media this last week, just stories coming down left and right about the Super El Nino and how dry and warm it's going to be all winter here.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't flag that yet.
So yeah, we need rain yet. Overall in the U.S. it's still getting dry. Actually, I ran across something pretty interesting because I actually had to look it up again. I saw a little fact here about a week ago. The month of July this year in the continental U.S. was the driest, or actually the warmest month on record for July. That's since 1895. That's when the records were consistently kept. So warmest temperature, average 76.9 degrees, and that's from 1895 to present for the contiguous U.S. Actually, it was dry for the most part overall, and it was in the top third of the driest months on record. So that's why we're seeing still a lot of those wildfires out west and actually some in the southeast because they are extremely dry, and their drought conditions have been horrible all year, and nothing really promising and coming down the pike here.
It doesn't with those maps for this winter. The Pacific Northwest looks unbelievably, uncharacteristically very dry.
Yeah, and they needed some more snowpack because that's why they're really having drought conditions now. The last couple of winters, the snowpack's been down. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's why we had an issue as well because we were down on snowpack.
Yes.
So
yeah, any kind of snow we can get. So actually, I probably don't want to do a snow dance right now. This last week in Douglas County, Colorado. Yeah, okay. Everybody saw those videos.
Yeah, don't press your luck around here. It'll happen.
So the county just streamed right at the south edge of Denver South. They had in some areas, they had a lot of 1/4-inch hail, and in some areas they had 2 feet. They had to get the snowplows out to clear the roads off. So August, 2 feet of 1/4-inch hail. And just not something you typically think of.
And all the tornadoes in Illinois,
Oh, gosh. Tornadoes and
Indiana,
winds.
this has just been a bizarre,
So on the other side,
freaky year.
yeah,
Freaky.
other side, Michigan Storm Chasers about a half hour ago posted that many areas of Michigan today will have a great day, and that's on their experimental Nice Day Index map. So if you haven't checked out Michigan Storm Chasers or downloaded their app, I had to check it out. It was like, so we're actually most of the states going to have a great day. The western end of the Upper Peninsula along the Wisconsin border is going to have an amazing day. Though they need rain because that's the really dry part of the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
And then most of the east part of the state is going to either have a decent or an okay day, mainly because of the rain. But though we need rain,
Yeah.
the area in the lower peninsula that had dry conditions was really expanded this last week.
When the weather is calm, Michigan Storm Chasers, they flip the comedy.
Yes,
They
yes.
do. We need to stay on track and flip to giving away a gift card.
Yeah, we should do that because this one might take a little bit, though.
Okay.
If people have been paying attention and
right.
seeing some certain things like the Waddell's newsletter or so that comes out once a month.
Okay, well, let me do the sell because I just saw Steve. He woke up in Pod D. So
yeah, the phone might ring,
when I
Steve.
said we need to give away something, he's like, "Oh, I'm here." Anyway, producer Steve standing by to take your phone call, 269-382-4280. Your answer, if you are the first correct answer to Gary's very complicated question, which he has pretty much forewarned us, will win a $20 gift certificate to Waddell's.
Yeah, so my trivia question today is actually involves bird migration again because the bird migration is going on. And I have to thank Joy, my coworker, that actually had this for a trivia question in our newsletter. And I confirmed with her yesterday that she already has the answer from our monthly newsletter, so I don't have to worry about giving the answer away today. But the question today is, after the Revolutionary War, naturalists in the colonies in the new United States were debating if swallows migrated or did what? What was the other action that they thought swallows did? And those are they were now known as barn swallows. So they were about 50-50. There was a big group that thought that they did not migrate, but they did this other activity. What was that other activity that they did in the wintertime?
This might take a while.
I actually don't think it will because I've actually run across this before, and I'm going to guess that our faithful listeners have probably already looked at this.
All right, well,
we'll see.
There's a little action on line one. We'll stand by for that, but repeat the question.
Yeah,
again.
so after the Revolutionary War, naturalists here in the United States were debating if swallows migrated or did what? What was the other action that they thought they did in the wintertime?
Okay, there you go, 269-382-4280. I know somebody's on the line. I'm waiting for it to come down my phone.
Yeah.
You know.
So actually, I asked Joy when I saw the question in our newsletter, and I just tongue-in-cheek asked her, are those European or African swallows?
Oh, my!
And she actually she looked at me straight in the eye and said they were American swallows.
I'm having a Monty Python moment here, John. Help me out. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My guess is hibernate.
That is correct.
No, okay.
Yeah,
great.
see, everybody's been paying attention to that. Actually, there were some facts out there about that. And actually, interestingly, they thought they hibernated underwater. Mainly because they would see swallows in that swallow family, which includes purple martins, but they would see swallows swooping over like lakes and streams and that where a lot of insects were flying. And all of a sudden they disappeared in the fall, and then in the spring, they all of a sudden were showing up again. And there were some reports of people and it was all via a friend of a friend of a friend type of thing, but they were adamant that they had dredged ponds and that out, and they had swallows that were covered with mud and had shaken that off and started flying. And so there was quite a debate going on for quite some time here in the young United States about whether swallows migrated or hibernated, which I thought was pretty interesting. Somebody says, my friend Joe saw some swallows when they were digging out a pond, and might have done it tongue in cheek or something to start the whole thing, but it just snowballed. So one of those things. Check out the facts before Yeah, you really jump on board.
John, you are our big winner. Can you hang on the line for a minute? And I need to send you back to Steve. He's going to get some dirt on you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Way to go. Yeah, I guess it wasn't as difficult as...
Yeah, I thought it would probably be found pretty easily.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Sort of a softball.
Well, all right. Well, how about this baseball? We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more Nature Watch in just a few here on WKZO.
Summer is the time to enjoy the fun, relaxing hobby of watching the beautiful wild birds that grace Southwest Michigan. Of course, you'll want to feed the birds year-round to keep them visible in your outdoor living area. Wild birds prefer the superior quality birdseed that you'll find at Waddell's Nursery Florist and Garden Center. Waddell's carries 16 different varieties of birdseed, and because of the large volume they buy, they can offer you the best prices. To give birds extra energy, keep suet feeders full. This week, the case of 8 woodpecker suet cakes is on sale for just $13.98. Log feeders are a great way to hang suet in trees for easy access for the birds. All 3 sizes of suet log feeders that are hand-carved by Stovall Products are on sale for only $14.98 to $23.98, depending on the size. Waddell's also carries bird baths, squirrel baffles, and more. Waddell's Nursery Florist and Garden Center, the Kalamazoo area's bird feeding headquarters for 80 years. Open Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 5.
Local news because I like to be involved in my community.
More Kalamazoo area news online than ever before at WKZO.com.
8:47. I was looking up the swallow bit, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I'm not going to air it. But anyway, there you go. Nature Watch continues.
Laden or unladen swallows.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, it really started here in the young United States. There was a judge in Massachusetts named Samuel Dexter, and he wrote to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in Boston. And that was an academy that had been founded 5 years earlier by John Adams and other Boston area scholars and members of high society to advance the interest, honor, dignity, and happiness of a free, independent, and virtuous people. And he wrote that this event had been witnessed by his friend, another judge from Massachusetts, who had watched a pond drain for repairs and claimed that from the exposed mud, dozens of house swallows, known today as barn swallows, struggled upward as if returning to life. So even though he hadn't seen Judge Dexter hadn't seen this firsthand, he added that in more years than one and at the proper time in the spring, he himself had seen large flocks of swallows at a river's edge, covered with viscous ooze and unable to use their wings. They could fly only a few yards and seemed to want to rest themselves as if feeble or fatigued. And actually that belief hung around into the mid-1800s. And actually there's a couple of records that is not a new theory. Actually, Aristotle back in 350 BC concluded that swallows hibernated, although he recognized migration in other bird species. So it's been around for a long time. And it was past newer than, more recent than 1850 before finally the scientists all realized that they are actually migrating. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, there you go.
Some other neat things I saw this last week, besides the interest about swallows. I don't know if anybody was looking at the dew point last Saturday when those rains were starting to come in, but at one point Saturday, the dew point went up to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was hanging around 70, 71 for about 2 weeks. It seemed like solid. It went up to 75 at one point Saturday, and it was like going into an instant sauna.
Oh, yeah.
And actually for all of you U of M fans out there, I saw some wonderful, beautiful Buckeye butterflies this week. So they're seeing them flitting around.
Wolverines fans, there are some Broncos that are coming to your home pretty quick.
Yes.
When you think about it, first game, Michigan, Western Michigan at the Big House.
By
the way, NBC will carry that game nationally.
Maybe there'll be some good luck Buckeye butterflies for the Broncos. All those bees.
Okay. Now, it doesn't matter who we root for. We can even be Notre Dame fans. Everybody hates Ohio State. Come on.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I know.
So actually, a coworker texted me yesterday. He had a photo of a caterpillar on some blueberry bushes and was wondering what it was. It was actually a larva of a white-marked tussock moth. And if you look at it, the caterpillars are they're very fuzzy looking, and they have usually 3 to 5, usually about 5 little tufts of, looks like yellow fur on their back sticking straight up. So like little mini brush that's sticking up, like little mini mohawks. And they typically eat, that tussock moth typically eats blueberry leaves, and they actually can decimate some smaller shrubs in that. However, if you do see them, and they're pretty bright yellow at that final stage, don't touch them with a bare hand. Those touching that little fuzz on those and that sort of long hair almost on the caterpillars actually can cause some pretty severe dermatitis in most people.
Really?
So there's a lot of those fuzzy caterpillars like that. Woolly bears do not, but a lot of the other ones that have a little bit longer hair on them can cause a lot of dermatitis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Some other neat things this last week. So I saw some antlions. So if you're not familiar with antlions, sometimes called doodlebugs, antlions, if you see these little conical depressions in soil, and they might be inch and a half diameter at the top, and it gets narrower as it goes down, usually maybe about 3/4 to an inch deep. And wondering what's causing all those little cone-shaped holes or so depressions in the soil. It's an insect called the antlion. And they actually use their tail and their bodies to actually dig down and create this little trap for ants. And they make those sides sloped enough so when an ant falls in there, and typically they do it in sandy soil, so the ant steps on there, they slide down the slope when they can't get back up the slope, and the antlion with its big mandibles is buried just below the surface at the bottom of there and comes out and eats them. And they're actually pretty neat. They have the adult phase of the antlions look almost like a damselfly. So it's still pretty neat. So if you ever have a chance to see some antlions, you got a sandy area where it's not disturbed very often, you'll see those in there. Actually fun. So if you find an ant or something, it's actually fun to drop them in the little cone-shaped trap and watch that, because you usually don't see it unless you dig down about a couple inches below the hole and dig them out. But
okay.
if you're just interested,
Yeah.
a little science experiment in your yard, you want to observe some antlions. Some other neat thing you saw this last week, excuse me, we were taking a break Wednesday, my wife and I, and she said, "You got a bunch of sweat bees buzzing around you." And actually, there a couple of them landed in my arm, and I looked at it, and I said, "That's not a bee. Its mouth part," I said, "that's a fly of some sort." And so I had to look up what it was. It looked like a little bee, had little stripes, almost like a dwarf yellow jacket almost. Mm-hmm. And because I'm very allergic, she was concerned. But I looked, I said, this is a fly, because I could see its mouth parts. It was just trying to get moisture on my skin. And actually found out it's actually a hoverfly. Hoverflies, and typically a lot of the hoverflies, if you mention hoverflies to most people that are familiar with a lot of insects, they think of those bigger hoverflies that are about maybe like the small bumblebee size, and they're very fuzzy-looking flies. They sometimes are mistaken for bumblebees. But these small hoverflies, and the one that we had in our yard, there's actually 3 different hoverflies: the margined calligrapher, the eastern calligrapher, which are more common. However, the one we had was the maize calligrapher, and that's maize as in corn maize. They are commonly called the cornfly, and most of those hoverfly larvae at the larval stage actually look like little maggots, tiny maggots. Actually typically eat aphids in that on plants. And there's some debate whether the maize calligrapher in the larval stage actually eats aphids or if they eat pollen. It looks like they're more of a vegetarian hoverfly, and they actually eat pollen in the larval stage, but then the adults typically will go after nectar. So they're actually a very sort of not common pollinator. And all those insects in that fly family, especially the hoverflies, they estimate that group of insects are the second most populous pollinating insect behind wild bees.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing. So if you see a little sweat bee, you think a little sweat bee flying around, most people mistake them for sweat bees. Take a close look when they land in your arm. Sweat bees have a little stinger. They can sting a little bit. But if they have that little mouth part and looks like they're just trying to suck up moisture in your skin, it's a little hoverfly. There's actually quite a few of them. They got big eyes, sort of brown-colored big eyes. So pretty cool looking.
Okay, well, all right. When I used to play Little League Baseball, West Portage Little League, many years ago, we had what we thought were a lot of sweat bees, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, it may not have been.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just...
and the sweat bees, all they did was just buzz around you and annoy you. It's just like, whatever.
Yeah, so some other rare bird sightings this last week. They're still seeing some black-bellied whistling ducks here in Kalamazoo County. Berrien and St. Joe County, they saw some stilt sandpipers. So they're on their first wave of migrating through. Calhoun County, they actually spotted a loggerhead shrike, and they typically nest out west. So probably got blown out of range by a storm or something. And here in Kalamazoo County, they saw a red phalarope, which is sort of a sandpiper type of bird, quite a bit of reddish-brown color. So if you have a chance, we're going to start actually seeing a lot of those, not big migration numbers right now, but seeing a lot of those birds that nest way up in the Arctic Circle or near the Arctic Circle, up in the tundra. And usually the females, most of those birds, the females typically migrate first, and then the males, and then the young come through. Some neat things coming up this next week. Actually today, you can discover Kalamazoo Nature Center at a guided hike, the Delano Trail, and that's from 2 to 3 p.m. That's included with your regular admission. You can stick around for an opera concert at the KNC. That's from 6:30 to 8. There's ask that you register for that. There is a fee for that. And then if you really want to stick around, you can stick around for the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society's public observing session. And that starts at 9 tonight. And that goes 9 to midnight. So you can spend the whole afternoon, evening at the Nature Center. Coming up next Saturday, they have a summer fungus walk, and that's from 10 to 11. And that's included with regular membership. That's for all ages, so wear some comfortable shoes. Maybe see all the different fungi that are growing right now. And they are starting on Monday their bird banding up close. So their banding barn, they do this Sunday through Friday. And so they're starting on Monday. They're typically closed Saturdays. And most times it is in August and September, 8 to 11 a.m. So if you have a chance to go out and see that, you can actually see them banding some birds. Occasionally on Fridays, on August 28th, September 4th, and September 11th, they are doing hummingbird banding on that period of time. And that's all weather permitting. They have a permit from the U.S. Geological Survey bird banding lab, and so they actually been doing that for many years, actually for half a century. And so they've done a lot of work with banding those birds. Kalamazoo Area Wild Ones has their member garden tour coming up this next week, so check out their website. Got a partial lunar eclipse Thursday night, Friday morning. If the sky's clear, we may be able to see it. Yeah. We'll see.
I could actually maybe be up and watch that. I have nothing to do for a while.
And we also have on Friday the full moon, the sturgeon moon, also called the corn moon, the grain moon, the lynx moon, and the lightning moon. Okay. And but it looks like the weather, when we have a chance of rain, so it's probably going to be cloudy.
All of that, and you finished with it.
So if you want to look at some stars, actually tonight might be a good time. Looks like it might be pretty mostly clear or clear skies tonight. So you want to look and see some stars after the watching at the Kalamazoo Nature Center with the Astronomical Society. Go home and stay up all night and look at stars. And it's going to be a clear night for a change. And it's going to be nice and cool, so no mosquitoes buzzing around.
I'm going to be watching to see if I'm going to be depressed by my National Football League team this year or not today. I'm going to watch my first preseason game. And of course, we have it here on WKZO starting at 12 noon. So there you go. Thank you, Gary.
So lions in the area.
Yep. Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. And thank you, sir. And thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday morning after 8:30 for Nature Watch. Brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. National and local news next, and Andy Waddell in the building with Over the Garden Fence on WKZO.